tonight is the night that you become a man. When you go down there, be decisive, because it's always the guy you don't want it to be.
Hey, Matty, who taught you? How you doing, kiddo?
Hey, Bobby.
Wasn't me, I swear. I know an informant.
I got nothing for you, my friend.
But half that money is mine, and I want it. I find the toughest guy here.
People really dance to this?
Sure.
Sure.
These are nice guys here, Gordo. We were just dancing.
You run this place? Huh? You the man?
Douchebag. I am also the guy who decides if you and your friends walk the fuck out of
Listen, Sheriff, why don't you and I just have a little word in private, all right?
You got some set of oysters on you there, boy.
Stand!
The movie begins in the dangerous streets of Brooklyn in 1987, where we meet a young boy named Matty DeMerit, the son of feared mob boss Benny DeMerit. Benny wants to find out whether his son has what it takes to continue the family's criminal legacy. To test him, Benny drags a man who betrayed the family into a dark room and hands Matty a gun, ordering him to pull the trigger. Matty stands frozen, staring at the terrified man in front of him. His heart pounds, but no matter how hard he tries, he can't bring himself to kill. Disappointed, Benny takes the gun back and coldly tells Matty to wait outside, leaving the boy overwhelmed by guilt and the crushing weight of his father's expectations. 13 years later, Matty is now an adult desperately trying to escape his family's shadow. He wants nothing to do with organized crime and dreams of building an honest life. But everywhere he applies for work, especially at prestigious sports agencies, doors slam shut as soon as employers recognize his last name. Frustrated, broke, and running out of options, Matty turns back to his father and asks for a chance to prove himself. At first, Benny refuses, but his brother-in-law Teddy convinces him to give Matty a simple assignment. Travel to the West Coast, retrieve a bag containing $500,000, and bring it safely back to New York. To complete the job, Matty enlists his three closest friends, Chris Scarpa, Johnny Marbles, and Taylor Reese, a tough street fighter with a dangerous reputation. Johnny, who owns a private plane, is sent to pick up the money. He's warned not to look inside the bag. But as Johnny prepares to leave the airport, he notices two police officers nearby and panics. Thinking fast, he hides the bag among other luggage while he goes inside to pay for fuel. Unfortunately, two airport workers mistake the untagged bag for abandoned property and remove it. When Johnny returns, the money is gone. Panicked, he searches desperately but finds nothing. He immediately calls Matty with the terrible news. Knowing they can't return to New York empty-handed, especially with Benny and the mob commission waiting, Matty and his friends rush to Wibbo, Montana, determined to recover the missing cash before it's too late. As they investigate, Taylor suggests confronting the most feared criminals in town to track down anyone suddenly spending large amounts of money. They head into a local bar, where they encounter a group of intimidating locals. Matty keeps his cool, trying to gather information rather than start a fight. Meanwhile, a local man named Brooker uncovers valuable clues about who may have taken the money and prepares to share what he knows. The next morning, Matty and his crew move in to confront the suspects. But before they can act, two police officers intervene. They discover the bag filled with cash and immediately confiscate it. The money ends up in the hands of Sheriff Stan, who instantly recognizes it as dirty mob money. Instead of reporting it, Stan decides to keep it for himself and his deputy, seeing it as the retirement fund he deserves after years of serving a town that never appreciated him. Trying to avoid bloodshed, Matty visits the sheriff's office and offers a reward for the money's return. But Sheriff Stan refuses and warns Matty and his friends to leave town before he arrests them. Now trapped between the law and the mob, Maddie realizes they'll need protection and tells his friends to arm themselves. Back in New York, Benny learns the money is missing and explodes with rage. He sends Teddy and a team of ruthless hitmen to Montana to clean up the disaster. When Teddy arrives, his cold attitude makes one thing clear. He hasn't come to help Maddie. Instead, Teddy takes control and begins showing Maddie exactly what true cruelty looks like. Maddie pleads with him not to hurt his friends, but Teddy has no mercy. Chris suggests they all flee, but Johnny refuses to abandon anyone, blaming himself for the entire situation. Later that night, while Johnny is alone, trouble finds him. Teddy and his men appear just in time to save him, but Johnny quickly realizes they weren't there to protect him. When he fails to give them useful information, they brutally execute him. At the same time, Sheriff Stan contacts Maddie and proposes one final meeting at a remote warehouse to negotiate the money. That night, Stan arrives heavily armed with his deputy. Soon after, Maddie and Taylor enter, hoping to settle everything peacefully. But before negotiations can begin, Teddy and his hitmen suddenly appear, turning the warehouse into a deadly standoff. In the chaos, Maddie finds himself facing Teddy with a gun in his hand, the same impossible position he faced as a child. Teddy mocks him, convinced Maddie still doesn't have the courage to pull the trigger. But Maddie is no longer the frightened boy his father once tested. This time, he understands that the only way to protect the one friend he has left and finally break free from his father's world is to make a choice. With steady resolve, Maddie pulls the trigger and kills Teddy. Finally reclaiming his father's money, Maddie makes one last decision. He will face whatever consequences come next on his own terms, without Benny's help or approval. As dawn breaks, Maddie walks out of the warehouse and joins Taylor waiting outside. Together, the two drive away, leaving behind the violence, betrayal, and darkness of the past, ready to start a new life.